We're so back! First of all, I'd like to thank you all, because personally, I did not expect our videos to get this much support. Now we got a lively community, packed with other indie devs, speedrunners, artists, you name it, and it means so much to me that you guys are enjoying our content. But before we go on, we got some milestones to cover. First, we reached over 1,000 subscribers. Crazy! Thank you everyone. Next, we also funded over half our Kickstarter already, so we're so close. And finally, our first public update, version 0.71, was released not too long ago. Alright, now that's done, let's get into the video. So, you're probably curious, how did speedrunning kill my game? Well, you see, ever since I released my first devlog, I had a sudden surge in new players. Now, by itself, that's perfect, that's great. But, the more people play your game, the more cracks start to show. And do you know who's the best at breaking games? That's right, speedrunners! So, if you're wondering how all this came to be, then let me take you through how speedrunners broke our game, our attempt to fix it, and how we spun it around to this. Okay, I'm not gonna bore you with how to program or whatnot. Instead, I'm gonna let you in on some game design secrets. I think one of the biggest problems Slime Voyage had was consistency, and it was very obvious in the movement. So, all games have an FPS, right? And what code does is usually run its script every single frame. So, the higher the frames, the faster the script runs, and vice versa. But this can lead to problems. Before our update, some of Slime's movement ran on FPS. That means, depending on what your FPS is, you can move differently. For example, bad game design? I just call it speedrun strats. But compare that to low FPS.
Oh my PC!
Alright, you get the point. So I quickly fixed that and made a ton more fixes. Polish this, polish that, blah blah blah. When are we gonna get to the new stuff? So, let's do a lightning round. First, I added jump buffer. Basically, whenever you try to jump but you're not on the ground yet, it essentially preloads your jump, and then fires it when you land. It's a small detail, but it makes movement feel so much better. Second, I added coyote time. It's jump buffer, but in reverse. See, you're allowed just a little bit of time where you can jump right after you leave the ground. The name is also a reference to Wile E. Coyote. Third, I added this cool gem where you can test out your movement. It includes the patented Slime Tracker, where it tracks your highest position. In fact, I used it for testing this new update, so it's dev approved. It's finally time for the Rampitheatre. You know what though? Let's mix it up. Let's start with music first. As you know, I actually released a little preview of the Rampitheatre in the form of a music video. So, let's play some music.
It's music time! Okay, we are so back and ready for the next area of the game, which includes a lot of racing. The first thing any good racing game needs is a startup sound, which would be used to show off the track before the race. If that sounded familiar, don't tell anyone. If it didn't, it's not inspired by any other racing game, don't worry. Anyways, now that we got that out of the way, we can get started on composing the main soundtrack. And before we do any fancy shenanigans, we need some bass chords, and I'm thinking D flat major 7/9 to an F minor 7/9. And if we do this really fast, it should sound like this. Now we need a catchy melody. And what's more catchy than a synth and an electric guitar? That's great, but it's getting repetitive a little too quickly, so we need a beat switch. And I'm thinking brass, which would also round out the bridge of the song. add in some organ, and it should sound like this. I won't show you the whole song right now because the OST is already up on the channel. Be sure to check it out.
While Crow, Joe, and I were discussing the latest hit track, we inevitably came to the conclusion that such a fire piece of music needed an appropriately fire backing graphic. And being the lead designer, I was given the task of cooking it up. So here's what I created. Look at it. Beautiful, sleek, elegant. It probably leaves you with just one lingering question. Who are these incredibly well-designed and illustrated people? That's what we're here to find out, and by we, I mean you. Starting off with the fellow front and center, world champion racer, Toga McHeelys. Their design history is frankly the most complex and varied of any Slime Voyage character to date. When initially designing the Rampitheatre, Crow and I settled on an elegant Roman Colosseum sort of look. We wanted a blend of an empire's elegance with high-octane racing, with a sort of host character to lead Slime through the ringer. I was playing around with possible designs, and my first draft here is Chuck Roadhog, a living trucker. The twist came in the kingdom's culture, an incredibly rowdy bunch in a seemingly pristine environment, which I found funny. But in comes Crow to ruin the fun with smart design decisions, so the trucks were scrapped. After the truck era, designs leaned towards an almost dragonfly-like nature. Unfortunately, nothing was really hitting. You can sort of see the inklings of modern Toga peeking through, but none were quite on the mark. That is, until we changed the premise from a solo trial to a race. In retrospect, the main issue we were having was trying to meld a racer and an emperor character into one. But with the idea of them being separated, a proper design for Toga came almost immediately. After some palette fixing, of course. And the emperor came soon after. The giant stone-faced face in the back is Empire, the emperor of this kingdom. I knew from the get-go I wanted this guy to be bizarre. An ancient possessed stone golem that was literally built into and of the Colosseum. First drafts gave him a full body, but in actual sprite-based mockups, I at first tried making him out of tiles. And then swiftly made him not out of tiles, giving us the goofy, expressive sprites we have today. I've been talking long enough. If you're curious on anything else about the area, then tough luck, you'll see when the update's out. Or through our semi-daily sneak peeks on the Discord. But without further ado, I'll pass it on to Crow to close us off.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Anyways, what Jely said. But I'm gonna be real, I'm actually going on vacation pretty soon, so time crunch is pretty bad. So editing might not be the greatest on this video. And Kickstarter. Actually, when this video goes out, I think only like a day is left on the kick. So please support it, or else we're not gonna reach the goal. Alright, that's the end of the video. Please join the Discord, support the kick, like and subscribe. I think that's what you're supposed to say. And that's it. Alright, bye.